I don't know how the man organized this. I don't know how you get here. But here's the thing. The scary thing is not that a random ass person posted this on Twitter. The scary thing is, and I can guarantee you, every one of you have seen this at least at some point if you're politically involved, this is not the first time you've been introduced to any of these ideas. None of these ideas are new to you. Ali Draws, thank you very much for submitting this. Said baby's first Nicosaurus fan art. I like the energy in this. Just very... Am I wearing heels? Is this the first time somebody has drawn fan art of my character with heels? I have not noticed heels in any other fan arts. I think this might be. I think this might be the very first time I've seen fan art of my character in heels. Oh, dear. Parthenia Southpaw, thank you very much for redeeming your points for... Oh, well. Oh, well. The next one we have is from Smacko. And this one, I guess you guys get a free... you monster. Because, of course, we have Sonic the Hedgehog inspired fan art. Sunset City will forever curse everything I've ever done. I will never be able to do it. It's a bit different from the other one you did, but fun. I mean, the other one you did had a very, like, light and fluffy energy. This one has, like, violent anger energy. Like, I just saw somebody for the first time and I'm ready to step on their throat type of thing. That said, let's go ahead and move on. Thank you very much for the fan art submissions. If you want any fan art to be shown on the channel, make sure to drop into the fan art section of the Discord. Thank you guys for what you put in all the time. And also, let's go ahead and get into some cringe. Some major cringe. I do not know who this person is. Who sent this, but rather I know MH Dark Beast who sent this to me and dropped it on my doorstep. So now I'm looking at this. This is some dude called Sigma Ironhog. And does he have a huge Twitter following? No, his Twitter following is smaller than mine, and I'm tiny. But the ideas that are put on display that are in this tweet are ideas that I have seen like a billion times on right-wing Twitter and also from people like John Doyle. So I'm just like, you know what? Fine, we'll cover it. We're here to talk about the ideas more than anything. So the first thing that Sigma Brah says here is, to make society better, we should execute pornographers. Anybody who films themselves or other people having sex should die. Apparently, then you have to jail all porn stars, and cattle brand any OnlyFans whores. Look. Yeah, or draws porn too. Yeah, you'd be a pornographer. You would just die. You would just die at that point, like easily. But okay, so why execute pornographers? You'd have to ask the question, why is it important that people who just film themselves or others having sex, why should that be something that is worthy of death? How do you come to the conclusion that death is a reasonable response to that? If you want to jail porn stars, jail is at least more reasonable than fucking death, but it's still unreasonable. Again, what is it about people who do sex work in any variety, but this variety specifically, what is it about them that makes it to where you should jail them? Like, what is it? Also, moreover, we should look at this last one. Cattle branding OnlyFans, people who do OnlyFans. People who do OnlyFans. Okay, so here is the big question. Why would you want to cattle brand them? The real reason you would want to would be to make it basically signaled that these are untouchable people. You would be turning them into second-class citizens, basically. This is going to be a very weird comparison, but if you've ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, it's in a dystopian society, like a dystopian post-apocalyptic-ish world in the beginning. I mean, they're really just in the slums, but it feels like post-apocalyptia. And one of the things that they do in that world is that if you're a prisoner, they brand your face. Your face gets branded with a fucking microchip so that they can always identify you, and anybody who sees you ever at any point can tell that you were once a prisoner, and society at large can avoid you. It's cruel and unusual. And it's they make no bones about that in that show. It's fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Of all things. But this is the same idea. But it gets worse. It gets worse. Let's take the next person. The next part. Take voting privileges away from anybody who is divorced. So if you were in an abusive relationship and you needed to leave that relationship, your ability to affect the democratic process should get taken away, according to Sigma Bra. Why? What is it? This is the habit that I want you to get in whenever you're looking at something like this. Always ask why. If you ever want to know how to have a better time with critical thinking, you need to be able to ask yourself why. Why do you believe certain things? A lot of times, it's very hard for people to answer that question. Think about it for a lot of default beliefs. If somebody grows up very racist and they have to ask themselves, why are they racist? Why do they feel like certain races are superior to others? Why do they not want to be around them? Why do they think that things like segregation are okay? It can be very hard for them to articulate that. You should be in the habit of learning how to answer those questions, learning how, like, and it goes the other way around too. If you think segregation is bad, ask yourself why. Because there's going to come a time where somebody who has answered the why for themselves is asking you why you think it's bad. And you need to be able to, you don't want to be the person like with the deer caught in the headlights, unable to answer that. Not to mention, asking yourself these questions as an exercise and being able to answer them with a good why, being able to answer them also prevents you from falling victim to really, really shitty reasoning from people. So again, you'd have to ask the question here, why should you take voting privileges away from people who are divorced? What is it about going through a relationship and then leaving that relationship? Ignore the legality part. That's arbitrary. What is it about that means that somebody should not be allowed to vote? Continue on. Reduce people to over 40 seconds, to 40-second class citizenry. Reduce people over 40 to second-class citizenry who don't have a child. So if you're over 40 and you don't have a child, you become a second-class citizen. Let's go ahead and think of all the ways in which this can backfire. Let's say somebody is infertile. Either they just don't have the sperm count, or there's trauma related to it, or, you know, they've had a hysterectomy, or this person just is unable to. They have an awkwardly shaped womb or ovaries, anything. There's 1,000 reasons. There's 1,000 reasons why somebody might be infertile. I know that I mentioned one of those in there that did not count that way, but yeah, this is like an incel manifesto. But why should these people get second-class citizenry? If anything, people who are over 40 in general have more life experience. They shouldn't be immediately thrown into second-class citizenry. They should have the opportunity to use that life experience to enrich other people, not just be fucking thrown down. Moreover, you need to ask yourself, what does second-class citizenry mean here? Are we going to a caste system now? Make killing in self-defense and in defense of personal property obscenely legal. This person just wants a violent world. This person just wants a really fucking violent world. Yes, we already live in the world where you can kill in self-defense, but in defense of personal property? So let me get this straight. A definition of personal property. Your pencil is a piece of personal property. If somebody were to take your pencil, should you be allowed to fucking kill them for it? If it needs to be obscenely legal, according to this doofus, then yeah, that would be in the category of legal. It would be perfectly legal to kill somebody for taking your pencil. This means that you would be able, under this dipshit worldview, you would be able to engineer scenarios where people you don't want to live conveniently found themselves in positions where you could kill them. And if there were no witnesses to begin with, you could just make the case, oh, I was defending my personal property. I was defending my pencil. I was defending my car. I was defending my book. I swear that guy looking at me was killing intent, so I killed him first. If a dude strolls into my house trying to take my shit, bet you my money he's getting a 22 in the knees. I mean, fair, but has nothing to do with this. This is the thing. You need to be able to take reductio ad absurdums to these things and see if they still sound stupid. And if they do, then yeah. But there's more. He continues on. Apparently, he wants to make fitness mandatory until 25 years of age. Violators get reduced to second-class citizenry. So, again, let's go ahead and find an example of somebody who is not able to get fit. All right? Let's take somebody who has a thyroid issue. Moreover, who gets to determine what fitness is in this particular case? That's always going to be a question here. But regardless, let's take somebody who has a thyroid issue. They can't control that. They don't have that ability. Also, making fitness mandatory until 25 years. If you have parents that are forcing you to eat an incredibly unhealthy diet and not allowing you, they are not allowing you to go out and exercise or do any of the number of things that could actually help you get more fit, which can happen, then this person gets reduced to second-class citizenry for something that was still outside of their control. It can be due to medical reasons. It can be due to environmental issues. Fitness is not something that everybody can achieve easily in general, but there are some times where people are in situations where they just are not able to. Apparently, Sigma Ironhog thinks that these people should be reduced to second-class citizenry. Again, you have to ask yourself why. What is it about being physically fit that makes somebody more or less capable to be an operator in society? Like, if you want to make the argument that somebody who is more overweight is less attractive, sure, I don't care. I literally give zero shits about your attractions. But you have to ask yourself, what is it about fitness or diet decisions that should make somebody categorically a second-class citizen? Now, we continue on. Apparently, he wants to deport all non-national born citizens. If your parents are migrants, you also go back. So if you... This means everybody in America would go away. Everybody in America just goes away. They're gone. Because I'm sorry, if your parents have to go back, then their parents would have to go back. You literally would go back down the line until you hit a point where you're like, oh shit, literally nobody in America right now gets to be back. And yeah, where are they getting deported? What if the country you're trying to deport them to has a different set of rules that says that they can't take people? Like, again, also, you have to ask yourself, what is it about being born here naturally that makes somebody more or less capable, more or less available, more or less good to be a citizen here? You're not even thrown into second-class citizenry. You're just not a citizen anymore. Like, what is the justification? What is it about being... let's be honest. What he's really trying to do is take, say, the United States and get rid of all the black people and brown people. That is really functionally what is trying to happen, because... Which, unfortunately, you'd also get rid of all the white people. If you followed this to a T, you'd have to get rid of all the white people, too. So... I mean, just nobody would be here. Also, hi, Miss Peep. Hello. It's the same thing with trying to kick all white people out of Africa. Where the hell are they going to go? Yeah, like if the only home you've ever had is the United States, the only home your parents have ever had is the United States, then what the fuck? Even if he tries to say that, well, no, if you're a second-generation natural-born citizen, then you're fine. Even then, you just say, okay, cool. Well, then the children just get raised... Oh, that's what happens here. This is functionally the same thing that led to the schools where we tortured, Native American kids and tried to, what was it? Save the man and destroy the savage. This is just that. Apparently, expel and jail all world bankers. World bankers. Okay, so does everybody recognize what that is? Does everybody recognize what that is? Please tell me. I don't have to explain what an anti-Semitic dog whistle is. When you say world bankers, you just mean Jewish people. You just mean Jews. Just say it with your chest. Literally, all of this is saying it with your chest. Don't use the dog whistle here. Just say you don't like Jewish people. Come on. If you feel like you're unsavory for everything else you said, and this is the sticking point for you, come on, dude. Come on. Break all treaties with the UN and kick them out of the country. Kick the United Nations out of the country. Hypernationalism. Do you want to know how you make your country a target for literally every other country? You do this. This is how you make yourself a military target. This is how you get a lot of violence. But, you know, I think we found in this one that a lot of violence is exactly what he's looking for. But let's go ahead and continue. We got more. We got more. Now, make Bronze Age mindset mandatory reading by the age of 15. So now he wants indoctrination. So what is Bronze Age mindset? It is published, self-published by a person who goes by the pseudonym Bronze Age Pervert. And I have no idea. I had no idea what this book was until I actually went in and started looking at it on Wikipedia. Bronze Age Mindset explicitly stated that the book is not intended as a political manifesto, but was written in a mood of revelry and laughter. The mainstream, but here's the thing: the mainstream media, he claims, deliberately uses humorlessness as a strategy to pretend to see policy proposals when we engage in fun and trolling. So this is, look, this is literally the way that somebody says it's just a joke. This is just hiding behind something and saying it's just a joke. The book discusses classical figures of the heroes of Homeric epics. It elevates and celebrates the pirate and the soldier of fortune as heroic ideals worthy of emulation, and asserts that classical education is completely wasted on both social liberals and conventional conservatives. It provides no sources, no notes, or formal references, but it does mention Nietzsche and pre-Socratic thinkers. But let's go ahead and look at the criticism of here. Let's go ahead and look at the criticism of the book. Political science professor C. Bradley Thompson objects to the illiberal, anti-equality, anti-American, anti-rationalist stances and considers Bronze Age Pervert and his writings to be more or less fascist in nature. Oh boy. When you are getting shat on by practically everyone at that point, like, dude, just accept that you're a fascist piece of garbage, okay? But apparently he wants to make this book, which I may have to make an actual video on later, but he wants to make that book mandatory reading by age of 15. Make non-organic foods illegal. Non-organic foods. Do you know what is a non-organic food? A food, like, first of all, organic foods. Organic doesn't mean shit, especially in America. It's literally a label we throw on shit, but it doesn't change the nutritional value of the food. Yeah, a banana is non-organic for the most part. Like, it's a fucking cloned thing. Like, you would need to define what you mean by organic foods, because guess what? If you're talking about organic, like, based on what it actually means, not based on the weird labeling that we use in the United States, then you literally just mean all food that is not processed. Any food that is not processed. Cool. Why? What is the purpose? What is the point? Now, apparently, mandating beautiful classic architecture. This is just a thing that fascists do in general. They're all about the aesthetic. De-industrialize the food industry. Why would you de-industrialize the food? The industrialization of the food industry is one of the reasons why we don't have food scarcity. In the United States, for the most part, in most areas that are not straight up food deserts, we don't have food scarcity. That hasn't stopped us from keeping food as a commodity, which I'm against. I think that food should not be considered a commodity. But deindustrializing the food industry, this is literally just saying we should make making food less efficient. We should just make making food less efficient. This fucks over anybody who lives in a food desert. Continuing on, apparently he had to redo this post like 4 times because he kept fucking it up. I'm going to be honest, Ironhog, I see this whole post as a fuck up. I see this whole post as a fuck up. And I think the life that is led that leads somebody into this is also a fuck up. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, this is apparently the non-fucked up version. How did he organize it? I don't know. I don't know how the man organized this. I don't know how you get here. But here's the thing. The scary thing is not that a random ass person posted this on Twitter. The scary thing is, and I can guarantee you, every one of you have seen this at least at some point if you're politically involved, this is not the first time you've been introduced to any of these ideas. None of these ideas are new to you. These are all things that you have seen said or heard said by someone at some point. Because it's not the random person posting on Twitter that we're talking about. We're talking about the idea. We're talking about the idea. The idea that gets somebody to say something like you need to cattle brand people who are on OnlyFans. The idea that somehow makes somebody think that it's okay to make fitness mandatory for everyone, and then you get second-class citizenry for people instead of, say, oh, I don't know, help? Maybe instead of making fitness mandatory and then second-class citizenry being the thing that you force them to, maybe instead, I don't know, giving them some kind of help. Something like that. Maybe. I don't know. Also, how's it going, Freya? How is it going? For those who don't know, Freya Amari actually made the backgrounds for Raz's streams, my partner. So if everybody can give a good heya to Freya, because that would be cool. But making a book that is obscenely fascist, mandatory reading by age 15, making non-organic foods illegal without really defining what a non-organic food is to him, because it literally is a meaningless thing. It's a meaningless thing. We have to worry about the ideas that lead somebody down the path where they get to that point. Foeing, thank you very much for redeeming your points, friend. You fucking monster. Also, Nakibri, a food desert is any area that has limited access to affordable and nutritious food. So if you've got an area that is barren, is unable to grow food, but it still has people who live there, they rely on imports. They have only a few types of food that they can actually have in their area that actually will grow. Like, they can maybe grow potatoes and garlic, but when it comes to, you know, fruits and other veggies, it's almost impossible. That'd be a food desert. Yeah, think literally the entire desert. I mean, yes, that. Wouldn't that own, like, Texas? Oh, man, look at that. Unironically, he fucks over Texas with that idea. How do you get to that point? How do you get to the point where you believe those things? You're convinced you're into doing ara ara out of humiliation? Miss Peep, don't even start talking to me about the things that people do for humiliation. I know you. So the entire Southwest goes poof? Apparently. This is a mindset that its end results are 60% of the US dies or gets deported. So now we have to ask ourselves, how do you get to that point? How does somebody get to that point? And if you figure that, you solved fascism. I like to look at people like this not as villains, but as victims of a terrible mindset. And maybe that's the wrong way to look at it. I don't know. But this is where I gotta throw it back to you guys. If you're watching this over on YouTube, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Because this is a whole thing. This is a whole ass thing. Let me know down there. Hit like on YouTube if you haven't already. Follow over on Twitch if you haven't already. And also, as always, everyone, insert end of video tagline here.